lectures. We didn't have all lectures from the restful. We still have more topics. Like Charles was saying to me during mealtime, Lydia, we should do this every month. Very good suggestion. Do you agree? So we put this together, rest, exercise, plant-based diet, all the natural remedies. You can actually text me your, and I can send them to you. So 21 days of following the natural remedies. And you know, some people say, what do I do after the challenge? Well, the purpose of the challenge is it's to have a kickstart of the lifestyle interventions. They say it takes 21 days to build a habit. So actually, this is designed for us to build a habit. And if you need more than 21 days, I told Charles, maybe he needs 42 days. But if you feel you need more, then you can. But when it comes to diet, we really advocate you do strictly plant-based diet for straight 21 days. It doesn't mean you'll be vegan and you'll be doing that 21-day challenge forever. You can hold off on it a little bit, but I usually tell my students not to eat any animal product more than once a week, so that you don't feel deprived. Like you say, I cannot eat my cheese forever. I cannot drink my milk forever. I cannot eat my beef forever. So no, it's not forever. You can do it. Once we get the results after the lifestyle interventions, and you get better, and your body is prime enough to handle the animal product without getting so much bad reaction to it, then you can go back to incorporating more of your animal product. But I usually advocate not more than once a week. Not really more than once a week. It's up to you. Okay, let's start with the rest. Like, yes, we were talking about rest. How do I sleep? Well, you just close your eyes. It's not as simple as that. So, go to bed 10 p.m. is a challenge because all of us have Facebook and go through Facebook, and by the end you never notice you've been on Facebook for 2 hours and it's already late. So put an alarm on your phone that will tell you it's time for bed. 10 p.m. There are a lot of reasons for that, because when you sleep before midnight, you have more of those repair mechanisms that Shirley was talking about last night. So if you sleep 10 to 6, it's not the same as you sleep 1 a.m. to 8 a.m. It's not the same. And people will argue, well, I still had 8 hours. It's not the same. Go to bed 10 p.m., wake up the same time each day, even on a weekend. We have the habit, those of us who are working, we have the habit of sleeping in on the weekend. Like, oh, I'm off today. I will sleep longer. But it's actually one of the ways you can mess up your sleep pattern. So wake up at the same time each day, even on weekends. Last meal must be 3 to 4 hours before bedtime. Rest once a week with your Creator. That's very important. Go to church on Sabbath. Interact with people on Sabbath. And actually, we get more benefits if we talk to each other on Sabbath. Because if you go, for example, I'm not saying this to say something bad about Central, but for example, if you go to a big church, such as Central Church or Hillcrest, and you go there and you listen to the sermon, you don't even talk to your seatmate. You don't even know the name of whoever at the door. So, because like one of the benefits really for this weekly rest is for us to connect to each other, not just to connect to the Creator. The connection should be vertical and horizontal. And for us who go to mega churches, like we lose that connection, the horizontal connection. It's very healing, very healing. That's why it's rest with your Creator once a week, have a weekly off. I'm very bad at that. At this point, I don't have any off day. I'm trying, okay? Have a yearly vacation. And when it comes to exercise, walk before breakfast. And again, my sister here was asking, well, is it really 30 minutes at one time? Well, if you can't do 30 minutes, then break it. Like 10 minutes before breakfast or 10 minutes before you go to work. Like, for example, you can park way out there and then walk around the parking lot. Then you have 10 minutes. And then noontime, after your noon break, you have another 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And before you go home, before you go to your car, do another 10 minutes instead of going directly to your car. Then you got your 30 minutes. Rocket science, right? It's really, you just need the willingness and the commitment to do it. It's really that. Walk before breakfast. Start with 5 minutes. Don't be ambitious. Because I learned exercise from Suzette. I'll start tomorrow, 30 minutes. I'm telling you, you will fail. So the rule is start low and go slow. Okay? Start low and go slow. Start with 5 minutes, increase daily until you reach 30 minutes. Again, you don't have to do 30 minutes at one time right away. You can break it. Walk after each meal. The reason for that is if you walk after your meal, the food is mixed with more oxygen. And the more you do that, the amount of food that you have, you get more energy. Okay, start with 5 minutes again, increase it until you get 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Do strengthen and exercise 2 times a week. And the strengthen and exercise should not be daily. They say you have more chance of forming those mitochondria, the power cells, the powerhouse of the cells, if you do it 48 hours apart. It has to be 48 hours apart. Don't be so that I'm done with by 2 times a week. I'll do it Monday, Tuesday. Do it Tuesday, Thursday. Strengthen and exercise. And if you don't know how, there's a lot of YouTube videos how to do it. Go to YouTube University. You can see a lot of how to do strength and exercise. Again, start with something really low, like 3 pounds, for example. 3-pound weights, then increase it to 5 pounds. Don't be ambitious of having 10 pounds right away. Okay, start low, go slow. Sunlight. If you go, again, Bong mentioned this morning that if you go out there, exercise, you hit already 2 right away. You exercise in sunlight. Plus, if you drink your water, you hit 3 habits already. You bring water, exercise, and sunlight. But then if you bring somebody with you as a companion, then you hit 4 because you have social connection on top of it. And if you pray together with your partner, you hit 5 because you have trust in divine power right there. You don't have to you can combine them. Trust in divine power. I know we're all Adventists here. And it's given that we're supposed to have our devotions in the morning. But no, it's not. Many people will, I forgot. I woke up and prepared breakfast, and then I went to Facebook, so I forgot my devotions. I'm familiar, right? But it says in the Bible, Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of God. And it's true. If you make Him first in the morning, you can exercise, you're good with your water, you have better choices for your food, everything is just better. And I can say this because I've experienced this for so many years. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. Okay. Okay, I'm not done with the sunlight. Tell one friend about your health journey. Join fellowship lunch, which we did today, and weekly church services. Many of us are bad with this. Limit personal screen time to 2 hours per day. The reason for that is once you're on screen all the time, this is what we call sympathetic stimulation. Stress response happens. So if you're doing it for work, it's fine. If you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, you're doing it on social media, watching videos, so try to spare your brain because that is stimulation to your brain. If you can spare work for your brain, then do it. It will make you last longer. 2 hours, turn off your screen 3 to 4 hours before bedtime. Trust in divine power, read your devotional every morning. If you always forget, just do 5 minutes. What's hard with 5 minutes? If you cannot do 5 minutes, go to It Is Written. There's a devotional there for 1 minute. How hard is 1 minute, right? So just do it, and you will find out that once you dedicate 1 minute or 5 minutes, it'll be easy to reach 30 minutes. Devotional book, very important that we recommend here, Steps to Christ, or your devotional book during the 21-day challenge, because then you have access to power. I mean, you have access right now, but the more you communicate with Him, the more you spend time with Him, then the more you have power to do all those lifestyle interventions. Because as I told you last night, the enemy is on you. Like, he wants you to be miserable like him, not to live an abundant life. Or Desire of Ages, or Proverbs. You know how Proverbs is like, I think there's 30 or 31 chapters. So if you forget, okay, which Proverbs am I now? What day is it? Oh, April 22. Then you go to the 22nd chapter of Proverbs. And what it does is like you really think about it, study it, interpret it, and it makes good exercise for your brain. Aside from that, really, the latest finding, we have the scientists in Loma Linda University, the Sureside, their husband and wife. They say the greatest stimulation for your brain, if you want to avoid dementia and Alzheimer, is really talk to people, be socially connected. That action alone, if I talk to Larry here, I have to, what is she thinking? I have to read her facial expression. I have to think what to respond, right? So all these simultaneous actions in your brain actually is so stimulating. Not, they say, not Sudoku, the other puzzle, Sudoku, and what's this thing that FTV? I forgot. The ad that says one way to stimulate your brain, but really, social connection is the best way to stimulate your brain. Read a chapter, given, no alcohol, no coffee. Said, oh, we're Adventists, we don't drink coffee. I'm telling you, there's Starbucks in front of Adventist Health. Coffee really, coffee irritates your brain, irritates your stomach. There's a lot, like caffeine is a drug, and there are studies that will say that when you drink this, you actually decrease the circulation to your brain as much as 40%. 40%. No smoking, no vaping. Food and nutrition, this is the most tricky part, okay? For the 21-day challenge. Whole food, plant-based diet, no dairy, no cheese, no fish, no beef. Some people say, oh, no fish? I thought fish is not meat. Yes, it's still meat, it's just swimming. Okay, no fish, no beef, no chicken, no animal products, read labels. 80% of your plate, the reason why I put starch in there, like potatoes and rice, it's very easy to adhere to a plant-based diet if you have complex carbohydrates. People that just eat salad and fruits, they don't last long. They're not able to stick to the diet because they're hungry. But complex carbohydrates will make you last longer, even more than 5 hours apart. That's really I have done this. Like many of my students would say, oh, I tried a plant-based diet before, but I failed. And when I assess them what they did wrong so that I can tell them what to do, they did not interpret. Because it's deception in diet right now is ketogenic diet and low-carb diet. No. Our body runs on carbohydrates, like complex carbohydrates. The brain is running on complex carbohydrates, sugar from complex carbohydrates. So that's the really tricky part. You have to incorporate a lot of complex carbohydrates, not simple ones. I said, okay, this cookie is simple carbohydrate. I'll eat it. No, I'm not talking about that. There are two kinds of carbohydrates, the bad and the good. So do the good carbohydrates. 80% recommendation. This is really from the study, Colin Campbell, the China study. 20% fruits and vegetables. Eat until you're full. Don't like, oh, I want to eat only this much because I don't want to eat more calories. No, later on you'll still be hungry, and the more you will crave for bad stuff. So fill yourself with good stuff so that throughout the day you'll not be craving simple carbohydrates like chocolates and candies. So eat until you're full, but not full, not overfill yourself to the brim. it's about 80%, 90% full. 5 hours in between meals. 5 hours. No snacking in between. Just water. And then they said, how about nuts? Well, I told you, nuts is not included because that's not water. So just water in between meals. And you can actually extend it, like, so that you can have only 2 meals a day. This week, I'll do 6 hours. Next week, I'll do 7 hours until you have maybe 8 or 9 hours in between meals. Before I started with 5 hours, and now I can handle even 8 and 9 hours in between meals. I just drink water. But you don't get there right away. You do it slowly. No snacks between meals, not even nuts. Handful of nuts a day is, fat's very important. Our brain is a lot of fat. Our nerves, they need a lot of fat so that the highway will function very well. The communication between nerves. Only water between meals. Heavy breakfast. So eat like a king. Lunch like what? Princess. And then dinner like a beggar. Okay? So that means your heaviest meal should be in the morning. You put all your calorie needs for the day mostly in the morning because your metabolism in the morning is way higher. So you have a bigger chance of burning them. For example, if you eat 3,000 calories and then you put the majority of it in the morning, but then you eat also 3,000 calories, but you eat mostly in the evening, you'll gain weight if you put in the evening. Sometimes even if you don't want to do anything, if you don't want to change your diet, you can just change the time. For people that are resistant to changing their diet, I just tell them, well, because they go out to eat at dinner, okay, have a dinner, they cook, and then I say, well, if you don't want to change anything, just change the time. If you go out in the evening, why not go out at lunch instead? That way your body has a chance to really recover because this high-fat diet that you eat out in restaurants, your blood will be so sticky and thick for the next 4 to 6 hours. That's why many people end up in the hospital with a heart attack and stroke right after Thanksgiving dinner. Right? For that reason. Do not skip breakfast. They have this fad now, oh, I'm on intermittent diet, intermittent fasting, so I don't eat until lunch. Well, and they will tell you about, oh, this is just experiment, this and that. Well, yes, that's scientific databases, but what does the Spirit of Prophecy say to us? And yeah, it should be, you should have breakfast. And there are also evidence saying out there that really breakfast is very important. It will even prevent dementia, Alzheimer, those things, okay? It will make you sharp. So do not skip breakfast. Don't be deceived by those people saying intermittent fasting and skip breakfast. Walk outdoor amidst the trees. Trees are healing. The moment you see green, that has an effect on your system. It can decrease your depression, anxiety. It's good for your mental health. Good for your lungs, good for everything. Visit national parks, lakes, etc. once a month. Why put there once a month? Because there are studies that will say if you go to Sequoia National Park and you have all the air, the negative ions from the air, it will actually power you for the next month. That's how powerful it is. Nature is powerful. Liquids. Drink 1 glass every 1 to 2 hours throughout the day. So the moment you wake up, drink a glass of water right away. And before you sleep, or maybe 2 hours before you sleep, you must drink water. Because throughout the night, you're dehydrated. You're not drinking anything. That's why many of these strokes and heart attacks, they happen at night because that's when your blood is so thick. So do the habit of drinking before you, right after you wake up and before you go to bed. And don't drink water during a meal. The reason for that is we have the digestive juices. And those are essential to digest your food. But if you drink water with it, it takes time for your food to get digested because your digestive juices are diluted. That's it. The optional, I don't need to discuss the optional. Those are like if you're talking individually, then we can talk about adding anti-inflammatory. And if you need a toxin cleanser, we can also add charcoal, but that's another story. We'll just stick to the restful 21-day challenge. Rest, exercise, sunlight, trust in divine power. food and nutrition, air, and liquids. Do you think it's doable? Yes. Okay. It's one thing to say yes, and it's one thing to do it. Really, once you finish the 21 days, you can actually feel the big difference. And once you have this effect, then you will be motivated to do more. And just incorporate it. Once you have a habit, forming a habit is two ways. It can be against us or for us. If you form a good habit, then it's for you. If you form a bad habit, it's against you. But yeah, it can be a good thing and a bad thing. So now that I've explained to you the 21-day challenge, any question? Fatigue will go away. Many times you go to the doctor because you're fatigued. You cannot really solve it. You can solve it using lifestyle interventions. There's not an anti-fatigue pill. Protein powder. Protein powder as well. Exactly. It's a big deception. People that are I have a presentation on that, where it came from. Actually, it's pretty interesting. It's way back in the 1860s, and that's around the same time that we had the health message, right? We had the health message 1863. And about the same time, there was the name is William Banting, and he's an undertaker. An undertaker? Okay. He experimented on a low carb diet and high protein diet. And after him, there was also, anyway, this is just on top of my head. But after him, there was also this experiment by a physician. I don't have the presentation with me right now. But the way they determined protein back then in the 1860s, they studied this coal miners. They were strong, muscular, and they observed them on what they were eating, and then they said, yes, this is how much protein you're going to do. And those of us who know how to make a study or to conduct an experiment, we really know that that's not correct. But then amazingly, what they found in 1860s is still carried out now when we have more sophisticated way of doing experiments. Like right now, we know that we need only like around 30, 40 grams of protein a day. And if you're on a plant-based diet, you will never be protein deficient because even strawberries, even oranges, even anything that you can get your hand on that's plant, there's protein in it. So you can never be protein deficient. It's really a deception when they say, oh, you need your protein from the meat, from chicken, and beans. There's a lot of protein, tofu. Yes, Angela. Exactly. Exactly. Even the hippo. Hippo is so big. Where does the hippo get his protein, right? It's from plants, and they grow big. And if you haven't watched it, it's a documentary called The Game Changers. They're actually athletes, and they're on a purely plant-based diet. They're big body like that. Oh my! They're on a completely plant-based diet. So it's another deception. I'm telling you, like deceptions in healthcare and about health is teeming. Like it's out there a lot. Exactly, because they can tweak studies. I will have Brother Charles here tell you something. Go ahead about these studies. Yeah, that how they can tweak it. Charles here has a doctorate degree and went through that. Yes, thankfully he did not. Yes, and this statistics software, I played with it, and amazingly, like even if it's not significant, I can make it look like significant in the graph or in the pie graph, things like that. So really, in other words, human knowledge is always, this is what I want you, if you forget everything else, human knowledge is inferior to divine knowledge. But we're hard-headed, we're stiff-necked people, and we don't want to listen. But if we just listen, we get the healing that we need. We're not willing. But the only person that can make you be willing is Jesus. If you have that connection with him, I was just talking to Charles. We were brainstorming with my preceptor of how to make people stick to the lifestyle. And we came to the conclusion that yes, it's their relationship with God that will make them stick to the lifestyle interventions. Nothing else. Because like, oh, you want to live healthy? You want to live 10 more years? Then they will say, what's the point in living 10 more years? And I don't even talk to my son, to my daughter. What's the point in doing this? And I don't have the drive to live. You know, comments like that. But if they believe, oh, God, he wants me to take care of myself. He doesn't want me to kill myself and break the commandment of thou shalt not kill. So that will motivate you to stick to the lifestyle interventions. But other reasons, very shallow. Yes, Margaret. Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay. Cheese is very hard to get off because they have morphine-like substances that get you addicted. So they're very addicting, just like any other narcotics. So that's why it's hard to get off cheese. But you know how they make cheese? Right? Milk, they put bacteria in it, they let the bacteria poop, and the poop turns into cheese. That's what you eat. So it's bacteria poop And good if the milk is clean. In this country, our milk is not clean, right? Um, for every ounce, for every 8 ounces, representation in that, there's 135 million, if I'm correct, 135 million pus cells for every, like this whole glass of milk. Pus cells, and then they don't label it as pus cells, they label it as somatic cells, so that you don't know that it's pus cells. Well, somatics from the body, still pus. Because of the cows having mastitis, actually I have a presentation on about that, and it's really gross, but so they have mastitis, their others are inflamed, and then they suck them with the machine. So the milk and the blood and the pus are together in the bottle. Well, if it's still white, they can still sell it as white milk. But if it's too brown, they probably will just color it chocolate so that it's still saleable. All kinds of cheese and all kinds of cheese are bad. That's what the spirit of prophecy says. And if you go to the right sources, the true sources of information, yes, they are really, really bad. It's pure fat. You don't gain anything from it. You don't have probably sodium and fat and some minerals, but when it comes to nutrients that make our body heal and make our body have more, let's say, more materials for restoration and building, no, you don't need it in that sense. It's just mainly, I think, for flavor and if you're addicted to it. So talk to God about it if you're having cheese addiction, because just like any other addiction, it's something that's hard to get rid of if you're not connected closely to God and getting the light from God to give it up. The plant-based cheese, yes, they don't have the same junk and toxins from the regular cheese, but it's still made of fat. You still gain weight from that. And they put so much flavoring and so much chemical in it to really taste like cheese, but it still tastes like plastic to me. And so in the process of eating that, you're giving yourself just more junk, more toxins to get rid of, burdening your kidney, burdening your liver. Why do it? It's still killing. There is, and if Belsan is here, he has a very good recipe to make panderita, soy tofu cheesecake. Yeah, he makes a very good tofu cheesecake, and you can actually make also a cashew cheese. There's a recipe for that. Yeah, making it at home. You blend the cashew, you put whatever seasoning. I haven't made it, but Belsan is the one making it. I don't have time to make it. If I need it, I just ask him, hey, can you cook for me? Yes. Yes, that's why I meet every week with Yoli, because we have the coaching program. Because once we're done with with this weekend, you're on your own. No, you're not on your own. You have four of us. Okay, you have four of us. You can meet with one of us each week to talk about your challenges, your barriers, and we can pray together and we can brainstorm together how to overcome the barriers. Because in my experience dealing with students, most of them know the information, but my presence is still important, because they say, if we don't hear your voice, if we don't see you, we get off track. So the one that's coaching, the one that's guiding, holding your hands, they're very important people. And you have us here. You have us here. You don't have to pay us $4,600 to do that for you. So yes, we have that taken care of. All you need to do, we are just a text away. Yes, Charles. How to make girl babies and boy babies using light. Yeah, the one that we were talking about under sunlight, that was done on animals. And of course, we kind of know that the animals don't have the same reactions as human beings, right? You cannot always say what works for animals will work for human beings. But you can try doing the whatever kind of light so that you can have a blue baby, not blue baby, male baby. But anyway, there's this website. It's called Verilux, and you can actually buy full spectrum light. What it does is imitates the spectrum of light of the sun. And if you're working like Charles here, working at university and do a lot of reading, it's good because it doesn't make your eyes so tired at the end of the day because you have full spectrum light. Good for depression, good for mental illness, anxiety. Instead of sunglasses, she has like glasses to shield her eyes from all this. The full spectrum, yeah. So, like from what we already learned, like full spectrum light is good so that it imitates the sun. But of course, why do you need the sun at night, right? So you have to make sure that your sun is turned on when the sun is on outside. There's not a discrepancy with what you're having indoor versus outdoor. And I think what Larry is doing with shielding her eyes with with the LED lights or whatever artificial light we have is a good idea. It's a good idea. If it makes a big difference, light actually makes a big difference in people's lives. We just don't realize it. Sunlight, yes, it's healing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong, but usually computers are blue light. So that's why we have also materials to cover the screen to avoid the blue lights. Because like for me, if I go past 10 o'clock using my computer, for sure I'll not be able to sleep until 2 a.m. So the blue light in my computer. So it's the best way instead of wearing like a shield, just turn off your computer. Make sure, as much as possible, do your work during daytime when the sun is up. So early to bed, early to rise. They say we didn't have that much problems with insomnia and sleeping disorders before the advent of artificial light. Depression. Yes, Charles. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I hope I'm getting you right, but so the better your sleep, the more melatonin you have at night, the more serotonin you have in the morning. So then serotonin is always associated with good mental health, right? So the more there will be less depression and less mental illnesses. In the and the depression recovery, they are big on that, the serotonin and the melatonin, because that's the way they cure or they reverse depression. Yeah. Of course, the diet, the omega threes. But in general, who gets perfect here for exercise? Who gets perfect here for diet? Who gets perfect here for sunlight? Nobody, right? But if all these things, we put them together, even if we're not perfect in each one of them, it still does reverse disease. Larry, you can help me with that because I haven't studied what kind of light is that. LED. That's why you would rather go outside and be exposed to to God-made light compared to man-made light. In general, whatever is man-made is always inferior to what God made. Sometimes we think we're more than God and can do things better than God, right? We don't. I think because candlelight is primitive, and even before Edison, they had candlelight already. And it's natural, it's from a candle. So I think it doesn't do that much harm for you. But we don't want to go back to candlelight, right? Or the lamp that has a wick in it. Imagine my kids don't even know. I said, you know, the lamp with the wick, they don't even know what a wick in the lamp. So I had to find pictures because they don't know anymore. They haven't fed chickens, they ride a cow. Yeah, simple things that as older people we enjoyed. They're ignorant about it. Okay, any other question? Anything else that we can help you with? Yes, the those waves. Hmm. The non-REM to REM, yes. And then another cycle. Mhm. Yeah. 5, 6, yes. Mhm. I know what you mean because I do the same. Like you go back, you wake up and then you go back to sleep, and it seems then you have a continuation. Well, if you're dreaming, you're in the REM sleep. That means you're in deep sleep. So that's good for you as long as it's not horror dream, right? So your dream has a theme, losing your car, right? My dream has a theme too. It's like I'm being overwhelmed by water. Like as a child, we lived near the seashore, and when there was storm, the water would come into our living room, into our kitchen. So I have this like fear, subconscious fear about water. So that's my dream. Like I'm running because of the water. If it has a theme and has been like that for years, there's one thing sure, it's not from God. Who would want to sign up for a 21-day challenge? 21-day challenge to follow those lifestyle interventions. We can set up as a date. Okay, we start in this date and then we end particular date. Yes. Yes. It's correct. Yes. Yes. We have that in a spirit of prophecy actually that if you sleep, for example, at 10, that's 2 hours before midnight, your body would interpret it as 4 hours. Yeah, it makes sense. Yes. Yeah, I would say yes because like even for myself, I get more rested doing 10 to 4 because I have to wake up early to many days to study than doing 5, 1 to 5. So if I have 5 hours and it's 1 to 5, I will be very tired the whole day. But if I have 5 hours but I started at 10 or 11, I'm better off the next day. Amazing. Yes, extensively in a depression recovery. Yes, Margaret. Oh, not in your life? Maybe your sleep is not that deep. Do you get exposed on some physical activity during the day? You have exposure to sunlight and exercise during the day? Oh, mhm. Exactly. There are like age related changes that we cannot really do anything about. But as long as we still function and we can still climb the mountain until we die, like Aaron and Moses, it's fine. Because our goal is that our health span will be the same as lifespan. Because many people, they live like quality life until like 40, for example, and they live until 80, but the rest of the 40 years are just going to the doctor, right? Yeah. So that's our goal. We don't live forever with lifestyle interventions, for sure we don't. But our goal is that health span equals lifespan. I have this story of a very old person in the Philippines who was a farmer, had I think 12 children, right? 12 children, Pastor Paipa's father. And he was still plowing the field right the day. So this day, he was still plowing the field And then that night he said, you know what? I think it's my time to go. He asked his children to help him to dress nicely that night and called all his children to pray. And he just slept that night. He died that night. But you see, the day, the day before he died, he was still plowing the field. Just like Moses and Aaron could still climb the mountain and die on top of the mountain. That's what we want. Continue working. The more you work, that's why retirement is not really retirement that you're going to be sedentary or not do anything. Retirement is just changing your tires, the next job, changing gears. Yes. Because there's never any retirement in the Lord's work, right? Moses did not retire. Aaron did not retire. They retired when they died. So that's supposed to be our goal as well. We serve until we die. How it is. Yes. Protein shake, if you think about it, our body functions optimally and way better when food is packaged in the way nature packages it, the way God packaged it, right? So if you extract protein and get so much of it, no, it's not the same proportion. And down the road, you will have side effects or reactions to that. So as a general rule, it's not good to take like certain nutrients in concentration. Yeah, it's better to have it in a natural form. For example, if you're really vitamin B12 deficient, yes, you can take vitamin B12 for some time. Or if you have a disorder that makes you really vitamin deficient forever, then you can take those. But otherwise, if you don't have those disorders, just eat a plant-based diet, the one in Genesis 1:29, right? And you'll be fine. All of them. If you want a high concentration, that if you want a high concentration of protein, you get it from tofu, you get it from beans. They're high concentration. But of course, if your kidney is like, if you're way older and your kidney is starting to fail, I mean, not really fail, but the function is less, you don't want to have much of those. But you can still get protein from all the other stuff, vegetables and fruits. They all have protein, so you'll never be, again, you'll never be protein deficient. It's really, I should have that presentation, how we came about with this high protein diet in the next hues we have. You see, today we just touched only not even all the surface, but just a little bit introduction of our topics. We need more. And just so you know, whatever you learn here today, you can use that for ministry. You can already coach somebody that doesn't know what you know, right? Mhm. Mhm. Exactly. And sometimes even if you like, there are times when I cannot really share a scripture, but at the end of the conversation, they always are willing to. If you say, "Hey, can I just pray for you so that you can do these things?" They're always, almost always willing for you to pray for them. If not the scriptures, then you can always pray. And people, this is one thing I experience. People that are suffering and are sick, they never refuse. In my experience, not yet. Nobody refused prayer because they're in that condition. They're in a stage where they're so vulnerable, susceptible to what you, or, to things eternal, to things that are spiritual, because they're sick. So that's the reason why the health message is an entering wedge, because after you help them with a physical ailment, then you can always direct them to Jesus, because where will they get power to perform all these things? From Buddha. Again, people that believe in him. I think I'm wrong. That's what it is. But we just need to be bold. We just need to be bold to tell the truth. And our job is to plant the seeds. It's not our job to make the seeds grow. That's not ours. The Holy Spirit. Just do our job description. Right? Anything else before we end? Okay, maybe I can ask Cosette here and Belson, even Jag, those of us who are into cooking can probably do, and we need to set this up, maybe a once a month in the kitchen. You're in the kitchen to discuss just one recipe, how to make one recipe, simple ones that will not require you more than 30 minutes. Because many of us are really busy. We don't have more than 30 minutes to prep our food. Charles can testify to that. That's a good suggestion. And again, we need more people. If Larry can do one demonstration, so be it. Antarita, Daphne, Margaret, whoever can share a good recipe. Yes, because like people that I encounter, they say, "You're plant-based, and how do you do it? You're very busy." Well, I have my shortcuts, so we can share our shortcuts. My breakfast shortcut is smoothie. Again, people argue, well, it's best to eat the fruit than the tea. Well, I don't have time to chew the fruit in the morning. So it really depends on your schedule. I say, okay, the best time to exercise is in the morning, but I wake up late. Well, for you, it can be midday. It can be afternoon. Who cares? There's the best time. But as long as you're doing it, whatever works for you, whatever works for your schedule. It is a lifestyle. And again, if you cannot do the 21-day challenge, people that are not, from my experience, people that are not desperate, that are not trying to reverse like heart failure or autoimmune disorder, some of them are not willing. 21, so much to think, right? The 21-day challenge, so much to think. Another suggestion is start low, go slow. This week, you just like, okay, I'll just stick to a plant-based breakfast. That's all you need to do. Don't think about exercise. Don't think about sunlight. Just think of one thing and do it. And until that habit gets ingrained in you, then you can move to another habit. How's that? Mhm, mhm. So you have to study what makes things work for you. Because what might work for me will not work for you. You really have to interpret what will work for yourself. Like vegetables. If I tell you, well, you eat a bitter melon, that's good for you, good for diabetes. But of course, you don't want to start there. Start with the vegetable that you like, maybe broccoli, maybe spinach. That's the higher level is bitter melon. So very good for you, but caution, not the instant one, but the rolled oats, the one that you cook longer. A traditional. And don't cook it in milk, cook it in water. You just try it that, and then if you don't have any reaction, then probably you're handling it well. Because the other one that's instant, it makes your blood sugar go up quickly because they're mushy and it gets absorbed quick compared to the yeah the yeah because it's more processed, so it spikes your sugar more. And the little packet, the instant, because there's rolled oats and there's steel cut. I think you're talking about the steel. It's still rolled, but they're small pieces. Yes, the one, not that one that you just pour hot water. So that's another tip. Yes, for those of us who are trying to lose weight, the dried fruits because the water is taken from it, so you have the tendency to eat more of it. Then you have more of the sugar. Hmm. In general, if you want the nuts, just a handful because it's calorie dense. If you want to lose weight, you will not lose weight easy if you have more of those. So, just a general, just just a handful. Yeah, just a handful because we need fats. Okay, we need fat for our brain function. Avocado, but not the whole. If you want to lose weight, just do 1/4 avocado, not the whole one, because 1/4 of the avocado, not the whole fruit, because then you have so much calories. Yes, it's plant based, but you still have a lot of calories. Like tofu is a lot of calories, soybeans, a lot of calories. So if you have to be mindful of this when you, even if you're on a plant based diet, to not get too much of it. You want to lose weight. The timing of food is very important in losing weight. If you eat more at dinner, yes, you can be vegan and be 400 pounds. Yeah. Like Coke is vegan, Oreo is vegan. Yes, so many vegan junks out there. So that's why we don't say vegan. We want you to be plant based. And plant based doesn't mean vegan. Like I'm plant based, but do I eat fish? Yes. Is it every day? Maybe once in a few months I will eat fish. Okay. What is that? It depends on what's available for you. Organic is always more expensive, but you're not sure whether they're really organic. Yeah, so if you want organic vegetable, plant it yourself. Well, if it has worms in it, that's for sure organic. Because if the worms live, you can live. Yeah, to clean your fruits and vegetables. And the concentration of the white vinegar. Clean your fruits and vegetables. You know what? When you use the vinegar, your strawberry actually will stay in the refrigerator way longer without rotting. I use vinegar in everything. I even use it as what Auntie Rita taught me to use it as a fabric softener. Yeah, fabric softener. So what I'm used to vinegar. When I use a regular fabric softener, like okay, here's your clothes. You put them in the washer, the drum, and then where the soap is, liquid soap, you put the liquid soap in there, the detergent. And in the area for softener, instead of putting the softener, you put the vinegar in it and then run it. No, equivalent to how much you put in the fabric softener, that's how much you put vinegar. Because your clothes will not smell vinegar when it's dried. Anyway, yes, and you save a lot of money. More money for your pocket. Even to clean your kitchen counter, use vinegar. We use it to clean C. diff in the hospital, so why not your counter? Yeah, vinegar. It's better than Clorox. Vinegar everywhere. Yes, so, and another thing that will be a barrier for lifestyle change or plant-based diet, many will say, oh, it's more expensive to eat plant-based. No, it's not expensive. Down the road, you don't have to pay to co-pays, you don't have lost time of work, so it's actually way cheaper. First of all, bread, you have to look at the ingredients, right? Because like some bread will have this much ingredients in it. And so you look for the bread that's really less ingredients and as close to natural state as possible. So it's like whole wheat, right? Whole wheat and less ingredients. So you can buy it. They have breads like that. Ezekiel in, where's that? Sprouts and Trader Joe's. Ezekiel, not Daniel. Ezekiel. No, it's Ezekiel bread. Yeah, there's no Daniel bread. Ezekiel. Maybe down the road you can create a Daniel bread. Yes, ingredients. Yeah, the better. Yes, exactly. Yeah, the most. But also eat as close to the source as possible. So plant-based means not so much bread, like occasionally, but if you can really eat the whole grains, the brown rice, the millet, the oatmeal, so whole grains is the best compared to the bread. Exactly. Like like the way they raise the wheat. Exactly. That's what I told you earlier, that if you're just fruits and vegetables, you will last 2 hours, 3 hours. That's why you have to add complex carbohydrates, rice, potatoes, um, whole bread. What else? All whole grains. There's a lot out there. Taro, sweet potatoes. Yes, because you will never last. Cassava, boiled banana. Dave's. I think next to the Ezekiel bread will be Dave's. So Dave's is better than the others. Yes, Brother Charles. Yeah, by the way, bananas, we have all kinds of bananas, okay? In this country, we have a few. But in Asia, we have bananas for eating, the table bananas, and we have bananas for boiling, we have bananas for frying, we have bananas for everything. We don't have plantain, no, ours are saba, not plantain. We call it saba in our, it's small bananas like that, for boiling and for frying for us, not plantain. Plantain is more South America, I think, and here. Okay, missionaries, medical missionaries, are you ready? Of course, you have to be missionary to ourselves first because we cannot give something we don't have. We cannot teach something we don't practice. That's why the topic that I'm least comfortable with is sleep. That's the area I'm so weak because of what's going on with my work and my school. Any others? Any other questions? No more? So thank you so much for being here. And I hope this presentation will help you not only in your journey towards health, but also will enhance your relationship with Jesus. That's really the most important thing. Yes, for those who don't have the copy of the 21-day challenge, just text me. You have my number. Most of you have my number. Oh, it's called Sci-Hub. It's SCIHUB. Because in that website you don't have to pay. You know how when you go to PubMed and then the article is owned by some company or some library, you have to pay like $30, between $30 to $50 to get a hold of that article. So Sci-Hub is something that was created by a student who was so frustrated with how much you pay for articles and created a website. It's like a website, but whatever, a lot of what you find in PubMed, you will find in Sci-Hub as well, even more, way more. Yeah, it's SCIHUB, SCI-SUB. Yeah, HUB, yes. Sci-Hub. It should be .com. Yes. Mhm. Yeah, because I was like, where do I get the articles where I don't have to pay? And one day I listened to John McDougall, and he said he had the same issue. In fact, he had to maintain a relationship with a university in order to get to their library. But then he found this website wherein he can get a lot of articles without having to pay. Because right now I don't have that much problem because I'm in Loma Linda University and the library has a lot. But once I'm off graduate school, I will have the same issue. So it's better to have Sci-Hub. Okay. If there's no other question, I'm going to ask Auntie Rita here to lead us in closing prayer, and then we can go. You're welcome. It's my pleasure.